Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trade Talk here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. We are here. It is day one of the 2025 AFL Trade Period. It is Monday, the 6th of October, and we are here with a brand new show with daily updates on the Trade Talk, on the trade rumors, on everything. And we are starting with, we have to start with a guest, and it's Trade Period, so therefore Pommy is here. Hello, my friend.
Hey up, how you doing? You dust me off for this time of year, so here we are. Looking forward to it. Get to focus on one team for an hour or so. That's nice and relaxing.
We reach to the top shelf. We dust off the old whiskey that hasn't been touched all year, and then we pour a glass.
This whiskey only gets called upon now in the dark times. It's like a proper whiskey. This one. It's not the celebration whiskey. This is the wife's left you, taking the kids. You're too old to start again. Get the whiskey out. I'm that whiskey. I love being that whiskey too. It's nice.
Yeah, you've sold the 3 or 4 person couch. You've got the single couch recliner. It's just you living at home.
Mate, you go into the kids' bedroom, it's empty. Do you know what I mean? I'm that vibe quality.
Oh dear. Well, mate, this is your time. Welcome to Trade Period. It used to be Carlton only. Now it's full of footy. Look, I really hope that this show doesn't bring you down before you start doing your 8 p.m. update. But you know, we're going to get through what's going on.
Look, 40 years old in 2 weeks' time. Life has battered hopes and dreams out of me. So you can't really sink any lower than I've already been accustomed to. So now it'll be a vibe. I can't wait. It's nice this, because usually today I've been doing the preparation for 18 teams. We've got a big show tonight because Caltumi interviewed 18 people, which makes my content a little bit more complex. But now I'm looking forward to just doing Carlton. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, it'll be great. So, ladies and gents, those of you who are watching live right now and those of you who are listening later on throughout the week, daily, 6 p.m., we will just basically do a recap of all the day's news and events. This will go in parallel with the videos that I'm uploading throughout the day, depending on what the news is. But tonight, we're going to basically set the scene. So the state of play for Carlton. We're going to give updates on the Charlie Curnow situation. We've heard from Sydney. We've heard from Gold Coast. We've heard from Geelong. We are going to bust a myth. We are also going to talk about a contract extension, which, if I'm led to believe, hasn't been announced yet. So not that we've got the exclusive, but Reddit found the exclusive. We're going to get some fan interaction as well afterwards. If any of you want to call in and share your thoughts on what you've seen or heard, we can go through that. And then later in the week, maybe even tomorrow, depending on if there's enough to talk about, we can dig through the bottom of the barrel and start looking at rumors online and trying to put them in categories. So it should be fun.
I woke up to a lot of texts this morning. My name was on Big Footy this morning.
Really?
Someone had said that Pommy Knowles was going to become the data analysis for Carlton Football Club. So I've never, ever been been subject of a trade rumor, which was very nice. So I don't know who that troll was. It's since been deleted, but thank you for that. It was quite nice to wake up this morning to DM saying, Pom, have you signed with the football club? And I was like, what?
Oh, was this because of the restructure that Graham Wright was doing to bring more of a data and analytical lens to things?
Yeah. Evidently, I was taken out for a coffee and given the job. Fortunately, I wasn't. So, I mean, St Kilda, you're very busy at the minute. You've got that Fiji holiday money. Here's a call, right? Me and Sauce working together. That'd be decent money, that. Give me a call, sausage.
Jeez, every man's got a price. Don't bend the knee. Do not bend the knee.
Yeah, unfortunately, I might be the only person in Melbourne that Sam Mitchell hasn't taken for a coffee, which makes me quite sad. Because I do like Sam. I am a big fan of Sam Mitchell. I'm very upset he hasn't given me some money.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's not too late. It's never too late. You heard Gubby Allen today. St Kilda have a war chest and they got more money to spend.
Hey, look, this is a lot more fun, though. I'll tell you, it's a lot more fun. This, like, why would I turn my back on this? Hey,
Yeah.
why would I turn my? Why would I turn my? Can you imagine some of the negative comments I've had the last couple of weeks from Carlton fans on posts? If you follow me on Twitter and Facebook, you may have seen them on my personal. Had some real dodgy ones. Can you imagine that if I worked in the AFL media? Imagine if I worked for a football club, because I couldn't do what these other idiots do at the football club and stay quiet. I'd have to fight back. So
Yeah.
YouTube's a safe space. I'll stay here.
Yup. All right. I can see a few of you talking about Ben Ainsworth. We're going to cover all of it, every single bit of it. A little later in the show, I'll open it up. And if you have your own set of questions or topics you want to bring up, we can explore them. But let's start. Let's set the scene. So this is not, obviously we're excited because change is coming. We are not here to sell the dream. We are here to get absolutely real. Pommy, what is the state of play at Carlton? Where are we? Like, really, where are we? You've seen and you've covered a lot of all the other list managers and what they're saying and what they're doing and their language. So let's be real. Where's Carlton at right now?
Wow. I mean, it's, you know what's distracting me? That picture of Charlie, of Nick Austin. Why does he look like one of the White Walkers from Game of Thrones?
He's got beautiful eyes in this photo.
Piercing blue, hasn't he?
Well, they're usually red flag eyes for girls that I've dated in the past, but yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, I mean, the state of play, I mean, let's see what we learned from Chris Davis today. So if we condense Chris Davis's speech into 3 bullet points, he expects Charlie Curnow to remain. Contract talks with Sam Walsh will begin once he returns to training. And he kind of danced around the Ben Ainsworth question, but Ben Ainsworth seems to be a name we're linked with. He did confirm that the names we're linked with are Liam Reedy, Campbell Cheshire, and Buku Karmas, all 3 of which have requested a trade to Carlton Football Club. And then there's obviously, the loose links of Bailey Humphrey, Ollie Florence, and Will Hayward, which I think more are pipe dreams on Reddit than they are concrete at this stage. Where is Carlton as a list? Well, I mean, at the minute, mid-table is the truth, isn't it? We can't hide from that. We are a middle-of-the-road football club. A lot of issues to really address in this window. We've got to get quicker. Our ball movement has got to become a lot more fluid. For a team that dominates on intercepts, we're one of the lowest scoring at converting that into scores, which over the last 12 years has become progressively more important to win a flag. So that's definitely an area Carlton have got to absolutely iron on in this off-season window. So a lot of work to do at this moment in time. Nick Austin you'd probably say him and Leppich have the 2 hardest jobs in the AFL at the minute going into this window. Both of them have got a cause of action that will dictate what happens when Tasmania comes in.
So that's the key consideration. Now, there's 2 players who were starting players who are definitely gone, Silvani and De Koning. There seems to be just a quiet understanding that McGovern is likely to not be there. So that's 3 starting players. And then there's the guy on your side in that background, Charlie Curnow, who, there's a club position, then there's a, media position, and then there's, I don't know, someone else's position. So we're potentially looking at 3 to 4 starting players, 2 of which, let's be honest, rank top 5 to 7 in terms of valuable and how valuable they are to the team. So there's some serious change coming.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, then you haven't mentioned Lidge as well, who
that's 4. That's 5.
Yep. As well. All best 22 players. No doubt about it. So, I mean, Jack Silvani, it was quite interesting today hearing Graham Allen saying that their data analytics has Jack Silvani as one of the most key defenders. He used key quite a bit. Interesting, because don't know if he's used my analytics, but JSOS was a big part of that data metric if you look as a pure lockdown. So that's interesting. So that's going to have to be replaced. But all the players that are being replaced, I think, are quite an exciting time for Carlton. So Tom de Koning, he hides Carlton's ability to win contested ball, its inability to do anything with it. Jack Silvani, he hides Carlton's inability to structure a zone that somehow allows its intercepting players to thrive offensively without taking away something defensively. So again, an opportunity for Michael Voss and the backline coaches to really cement a good identity there. The rule changes in the ruck now make centre bounce almost a set play. It's going to be a consistent ball up, which makes it even more key that your structure's around there. So I believe Tim Clark now has taken on purely the stoppage and clearance midfield group, and that's his thing. So that's going to be a tactical thing. So it's interesting, Terry, because Elijah's probably the odd one out in the terms of he's not really best 22, but he is in the terms of we didn't see him all year. So Carlton have had a year to get used to that vibe. But all three are very important. But all three are opportunities now for Carlton to go a way that doesn't hide what we're bad at. Elijah kind of hides what we're bad at. TDK certainly does, and JSOS does as well to an extent. So now the list is really the list. So this is going to be interesting because you've got to bring players in that what I'm looking for in this trade period is I think we've got the stars, we've got the flickery bright lights. A good team has a really good black canvas that the lights become shinier. We need the black canvas. So we're looking for 5 black canvases.
Yeah. We were talking just before we went live. I'm starting to truly adjust to this modern way of thinking. And I think I'm finally growing up. I say that a lot this year. Like no more believing in fairy tales and Santa and Carlton. At the end of the day, the reality for the most part that I've seen is players will want to go where they get paid well and are playing in a role where they can be exposed enough to get paid well. So where do those areas show up for Carlton? Like what's the sell and who are you selling it to?
Well, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, at the minute, the 2 players that we have been linked with, the big one, Sam Flanders, obviously, it does sound when you read between the lines, we pulled out before we got the no. That's the way I've interpreted it. You know, the old, I never loved her anyway.
Yeah. I broke up with her. She didn't break up with me.
yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't even want to go out with her. It just seemed that way, which is interesting. I mean, I think to answer your question, what are you selling? That's a really important thing. What are Carlton Football Club selling, right? Because we talk about the history. I don't think any player cares about that, really. You've got to remember, most of these are young men. Like, their version of Carlton is Aaron Mullet handballing to Mark Murphy, not Diesel handballing to Bradley. Do you know what I mean? That's what they're envisioning. So I think what Carlton have got to do is sell the project. And I think it's really interesting. I know St Kilda are copping a lot of hate at the minute, but I was listening to Graham Allen this morning really, really, really in-depthly. And it was really interesting of how he worded it about how once Nas re-signed, it allowed them to go fishing and change the narrative. And he was very blunt with Cal Toomey. It was quite nice because Cal Toomey is one of my favorite people to interview because I've got a little game. I've got a little game for you. When you watch Trade Radio tomorrow, when the list manager replies with this, good question, Cal, he looks at the camera with this smug face like, oh, he noticed me. But he was very direct. But when you were listening to what St Kilda were talking about, they're selling this plan. So they're selling this vision. And when he was asked the question about Nas, did a lot of them players want to know if Nas had signed? He was like, yeah, quite obviously. They're selling a vision for the future of you're going to fit into this cog and this is where we're going to be. So that's what Nick Austin's got to do. Nick Austin has got to somehow sell, when you think from the outside looking in, I think most people would admit Carlton have made do with Voss. I don't think anyone in the AFL media think that this is a backing because they think Voss is taking them to the promised land. I think this is more of a settlement. That's what most people will say. So Michael Voss, Nick Austin, Mick Agresta got to sit people down and show them the vision and show how you fit into that vision for where they want to go. And there will become a point in time now where I think a lot of players have heard this from Carlton before. We're coming, we're building, we're at the next stage. This is a really interesting sales technique now from Austin for people like that, because I think people get shrouded like, oh, people want to play with 100,000 people at the G and stuff. I don't think the modern day sportsman really cares about that. I think that would be like 8th and 9th on their list. I think number 1 and number 2 are going to be what you said at the start of the show: money and the ability to win something. I think they're going to be the first two, and being part of winning something, being part of that. So I think that's what Carlton have got to sell. And it's going to be really interesting how they sell that, because I wouldn't know how you would approach that at this stage in time.
Well, if we take, for example, the conversation that the Carlton had with Sam Flanders, right? Naturally, if I'm any player, but if I'm Sam Flanders, my question back to Carlton would be, okay, but what's happening with Charlie? Because what are you selling to me? What's happening with Charlie? He's a core piece of anything you're going to do, with or without him. But Carlton at the moment are, I mean, publicly the position is he's going to be a Carlton player next year. But everywhere else, the manager's talking to this club, the manager's talking to that club. We're going to hear from Geelong and Sydney shortly. So that gets tricky. And let's be honest, if a deal for Charlie gets done, it's not happening today, tomorrow. It's probably going to be happening last 2 days of trade period.
It's going to be definitely one of them ones that, you know, he's going to be kept at the back end. If it is done in the next couple of days, it's definitely going to be dragged out. I think from a Carlton point of view, you want that deal done ASAP, like either way. And the problem is you're never going to, the way that it is at the moment and the way that the media is, I don't think Zach Merritt and Charlie Curnow are in the same boat at the minute. If the clubs keep them, it's going to be a show of strength. It's going to be sold as we've done the right thing by the football club. We've played hardball. But I think from a club point of view, though, we want this out of the way ASAP. Like we either want the picks in, the players in, we've got the Arsenal in so we can go and do what we need to do. So it's going to be a fascinating one, because this one's always going to hang over Carlton and Essendon's head. Essendon have probably got an advantage to us that they've got a plethora of picks. So there's going to be an element of excitement. The problem with Carlton at the minute is if he goes, it's what comes in and how you can get the players in necessarily to build the vibe. It's going to be a fascinating time, because I really like the players we're being linked with. I actually think at the minute, your Liam Reedys, your Cheshires, your Carmesses, they're the types of players Carlton lack. We lack that bottom end being improved.
Yep.
I want more 6 out of 10 footballers. I don't want to hear the 10 out of 10. It's only a matter of time, though. I feel we're going to shift to a 10 out of 10 for the vibe. And that worries me. I think that's always there with us.
It is. So in summary, the state of play is, to quote the great man Leckdog, raise the floor.
He does say that quite a bit. That's actually a good spot by you, Terry. I spend a lot of time with him. That did sound like it. I mean, the Carlton state of play is fascinating. Right, we've got to look at it. So we've got 31 players on the senior list. So that means that we can use up to 7 max. We've got 7 players on the rookie A, 2 on the rookie B. That's a total of 40. So we've got 4 list spots in total, really. Carlton are going to have to rejig that. We've still got to know about William White, Flynn Young, Harry Charleston, Mitch McGovern. We are going to talk about the other Cat B a bit later on, because evidently he can't stay quiet when he's doing a school production. Good on you, mate. But so Carlton have got a little bit of work to do here. So they haven't got loads of list spots to work with as well. It's going to be fascinating what they do, because they're going to have to duck and dive a little bit. It's an interesting time, this. A good list manager here can turn this list around with very limited picks, and it's going to be interesting if Nick can do that.
All right. I'm going to go through 2 pieces of news. One, we may as well just knock this one on the head, right? So wherever I can and wherever we can, we will eliminate or bust a myth. So we're going to potentially do that with Zach Butters. So there was a bit of talk that Butters may have wanted to explore his options. There was a bit of talk that Carlton might have been interested. This was Port Adelaide today on Zach Butters. Whew. I don't mind that.
Pow.
It's one of the nicest things in the world hearing a list manager's talk direct. Any of these list teams, you'll see the difference between the great, the good, and the meh when they interview Cal, because they're either to the point, give you what they want to give you, they either give you too much or they stumble over it. And that was fantastic. That just stab it dead quickly.
Yep. So can we bust the Zach Butters to Carlton myth, even if it was a myth?
I mean, look, I already said it was a pipe dream. I'm on record with that. I think it's incredibly poor management by the football club to trading a player that you can see that the model for buying these players has been shown by numerous clubs over the last 5 years. You throw the farm at him next year when you can get him free. Zach Butters isn't the type of profile, if you look at Carlton's list, if you are honest, it needs straight away. There is so many more higher end priorities at the moment with this football club that bringing in an elite inside mid is the last of them things for me. And it would be all your trade ammunition. He's a very, very good player, if not one of the best players in the competition. So glad it's over. It's going to be interesting with that one, though, isn't it? Because you've got to go hard. You've got to go hard next year. Lou's right. Lou loves a point of difference in this. They probably will match any bid next year. But the simple facts are, history will say he's more valuable today than he is next year, even if they match. So it's going to be fascinating what happens for them. Let's hope no one does a St Kilda and blows them out of the window there. That's going to be interesting.
We will see. Now, this one here, right? Can someone correct me if I've missed this? Now, first of all, shout out to the internet's a great place when it wants to be. Xavier5636 on Reddit, who actually shared this article on Reddit. I think it was today, maybe yesterday, but it's from an Irish newspaper called, wait, is this just called the Irish Independent?
The Irish Independent.
And they've reported that Monaghan has signed a 1-year contract extension with Carlton. So there's some quotes here. He said here, I'm going back out to Carlton for another year, just working through that. I got offered the contract, so I'm delighted. It 100% would be the aim to break through at AFL level. That's the goal. Carlton haven't announced this, have they?
They haven't, no. But Rob went back to his secondary school, this week, and told the kids that. So, yes, it's circulated. So, good news travels fast, doesn't it?
Is this enough information to know where he sits on the list?
Yeah, he's still eligible for the Category B. So, gotcha. I mean, it was an interesting one because should Carlton want to take Gresham, there is now the rules that Carlton could pre-list him as a Category B if he didn't go in the draft. Looks like Carlton, if they are going to take Gresham, they'll list him as a Rookie A, which looks unlikely given our list, unless we delist some more Rookie A's. So, yeah, fair play. Rob Monaghan's on for another year. So, good luck to him. Good Irish lad, Rob. Good friend of the channel. Good man is Rob. I'm
pretty sure did you chat with Rob or Duffy?
I did, yeah.
Or both?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You know, it's a rare thing for Carlton content creators over the last 6 weeks. But if I was going to drag up pre-tweets, I did break the Rob Monaghan and Matt Duffy news, but you won't see that kind of shit from me at all. Do you know what I mean? I let other people blow my trumpet, not me. But yeah, good man is Rob. So you know what? Good luck to him. He's keen. You know what is nice there? Breakthrough at AFL level. He's going to have that attitude. He's got a long way to go. Do I think he's lucky? Even though I love Rob, I think he's incredibly lucky. Answer that question in chat. What can I explain it? I think it's, Steve, with you, I think it's a surprise because I do think at the minute Matt has shown more than Rob, and Matt's coming off an ACL. But you know what? I'll give Rob and Matt this. Both of them they don't have a clue what they're doing. You can see that. You can see this is an alien sport, but they're game. They're soaps. They're learning hard on the job. So hopefully they can make it. I wish nothing more because Rob, honestly, great family, great human being, has all the right fundamentals. So does Matt. Both of them athletic players. If they can make it, they'll be very good players, but just got to hope they can do it.
All right. Now, Charlie Curnow. It's going to be the name on everyone's mind and everyone's lips until this trade period is over. So I'm going to play 2 clips here. We're going to start. Well, first of all, I'm not going to replay what Chris Davies and Nick Austin said about Charlie, but long story short, if you haven't watched the videos today and yesterday, it was that he will be at Carlton more or less next year, and we expect him to be there. He's a required player, contracted player. You get it. So we'll start with Geelong's position. This is Geelong's position on Charlie Curnow. Initial thoughts. I mean, again, it's all posturing and you can just tell everyone knows more than what they're giving up. But what do you take away from that?
I absolutely, just full caveat, absolutely adore Keane. Absolutely adore him. He just seems such a good soul. Like you can see in his mannerisms there. You'd love to do business with Dean. Mackie, he always comes across exactly as you think, Mackie. You know that guy is the kind of guy that's going around Gumtree 2 o'clock in the afternoon, doom scrolling, offering someone $200 less for an iPhone 14. Isn't he? He has got that written all over him. Oh, you're right, mate. I see you got the iPhone 14 for sale. It says 800 or nearest offer. I'll give you 4.
He's the guy.
You know what I mean?
He's the guy that goes into Chemist Warehouse and doctors a fake online screenshot of, like lip balm for $2 less because Chemist Warehouse have a price match guarantee.
Genuinely, he's that dickhead in Woolworths who's scanning his stuff on that app that says how much everything is. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it because I tell you what, I'd hate to do business with Mackie because I know his priority is shafting you before you have even negotiated a deal. He is already thinking, how can I shaft this mug? Interesting, wasn't it? Because, I mean, what I liked about hearing Keane is I thought Keane was very clever, used list management 101. Say everyone loves the club. So before Carlton ask for names, make sure they know we're doing you a favour should Haywood or whoever it is come to you. We're doing a favour because they're all happy here. They're all happy here. It's going to be an interesting one because, I mean, Carlton obviously are doing the right thing. They're saying he's not going, which keeps his value. If Carlton came out and said, Charlie hates Voss, Charlie hates Carlton, Charlie thinks we're bottom 6, you're getting him for free, right? So that's how it works. So you've got to play that game. I did like King more than Mackie, just because I thought he added that. He's a contracted player, so I want to be respectful, which gives me a bit of respect. It's nice to see a bit of valor. He's still in this game. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fantastic one to watch, this one, because I think we all know Charlie's not happy. So regardless of what the football club says, it's obvious there is something awry, whether they want to admit it or not. So it's going to be fascinating what we do from that perspective.
I had Paul on here last week from the Hoops crew, and I was asking for, can you give me a reasonable offer from Geelong's point of view? I want to get from you, Pommy, and those of you at home as well. Can you predict the final offer from both Sydney and Geelong? What's a reasonable final offer that would entice Carlton?
Well, there's always 3 prices. So we play this game on my show. We have what Carlton want. Good place to do it. What Carlton want, what they want to offer, and then in the middle is where the business is. So obviously, Carlton fans, they've been quite open. Max Holmes, 2 firsts, fuck off. Never going to happen. So when you trade, you don't trade to make your list worse. So this trade will be done for Geelong and Sydney based on them keeping their best of the best. Your next tier maybe are gettable. Your Haywoods, your players like that, your Florence, your next tier from a superstar. Same with Geelong. So it's going to be, I mean, for Carlton have got Cody Walker to worry about. As usual, the AFL said by Friday last week, they said that we'd know what the new rules are. We're now on Monday and still no one knows. So quality by the AFL there. So I think Carlton will probably look at this. The way I look at it is if I can bring in 6 players, make our list better and secure Cody Walker, I do this deal.
Okay.
I do this deal. But it has to be, I get them 6 players, I get Cody Walker through the door guaranteed, and I'm good. But I'm not hung up on the players. I think that's for me, very B-grade logic is I want players from Geelong. I want players from Sydney. I would take the picks if you can tell me them picks turn into the players we want. So the example I used on my show a couple of weeks ago were if them picks presented got me a player of Sam Flanders' ilk, a player of Buku, Reedy, Cheshire, another 2 good players who are B to A elite, and I keep my TDK pick, which allows me to trade back into the draft or trade next year. I do it. So that's going to be some decent things. That's what I want to see from it. I'm not bothered about, I know how hard it is when you start asking for players because Carlton fans are valuing Charlie Curnow as 8 first-round picks and 8 A-grade talents. Sydney are going to value Errol Goulden as that. They're going to value Haywood as that. That's how fans work. In reality, that's not the case. So I can't tell you what the fair ruling is, Terry. I wouldn't be able to tell. Me personally, if my team could present me, Dan, you do this deal, you get this player, you get this player, you get that player, you get some other player, I'd probably do it then. I'd be like, okay, let's do it.
So, for example, right, I've seen something like this from Sydney. You can interchange Haywood and Florent in a couple of picks. I can't really see too much of that talk around a Geelong offer. When does the conversation then turn to the future pick 2 years in advance? So like a future first in 2028 in a deal. When does that come up? Because no one has been able to offer that until this year, right?
Yeah. It's a tough one, Terry, because I've said this quite a lot on my show. People getting the 2 futures, it's a huge risk.
Yeah.
Because this time last year, people were saying, a lot of the pundits were saying this draft looked absolute jam-packed because 3 of the 5 top players, now 2 of them aren't even in the conversation of being drafted, but had better numbers than 2 years ago than the other players, right? So that's a huge risk, saying, right, okay, we get 2028.
Sorry, 2027 was the...
Sorry,
yeah, my bad.
In now. Could be a shit draft. Do you know what I mean? So I think for Carlton, the only sell that Sydney would have with that future is that it's quite easy to trade in and out. And no matter what the rules are, teams are still going to accommodate the trading. They're still going to accommodate the trading when it's an NGA father-son. It's a tough one, Terry. It's a real tough one to do because obviously from a Carlton standpoint, you're losing Charlie Curnow. But genuinely, I'll say this. I've watched Cody Walker closely. There's still a long way to go, but he's an incredible talent. There's no doubt about that. Easily top 5. Him and Cochrane look incredibly special from their 12 months so far this year. Look incredibly special footballers. A lot can go wrong and right, though, from now till then. If Carlton can lock away Cody Walker, that probably is half the battle at this stage. Half the battle, but it's going to be fascinating what Sydney offer up. It'd be fascinating what Geelong... I'm more excited about what Geelong offer.
Yeah.
Like, I've taken the piss about this a lot on my show. I can't wait for Geelong to say, yeah, you want this conduit, don't you, between midfield and forward, like a third tall. Got this guy called Jack Martin. I don't know if you've heard of him. It's all right, yeah. I was like, I can't wait for them to repackage Jack to us. But it's going to be fascinating. I think Tatum's on the money. I actually think that that's probably where you're looking at. Haywood, 8 and a future pick. I reckon push comes to the shove, that's probably the deal. And the reason I say this is there's also going to become a point in time where Carlton are going to look at Charlie Curnow and how bad is that is. And it's hard to hear this because I know Carlton fans are going to hate it. Essendon fans are slowly starting to come round when I've told them this. There'll be a point when you're 4 and 8 next year that Zach Merritt's voice is going to dampen. He's going to start to be louder. Charlie Curnow's voice is going to start being louder. So let's just say Charlie's upset. Carlton are 4 and 8. The last thing you want in the dressing room is Charlie having a beer with the boys and saying, told you this place was fucked. Told you it was shit. Told you we was clueless. And then it starts to get louder. So there'll be a point in time where Carlton have to think of that, dependent on how miserable Charlie is. But I would guess it's quite miserable. I had a few people at the BNF yesterday say to me, and I do trust them when they say this, that Charlie said to one of them, it's 50-50 if I'll be here at round 1.
Jeez.
Which I thought was very interesting for him to say quite openly at the BNF. And the guy that told me isn't the kind of guy that would lie. So could be bad.
Interesting. All right. So next item on the agenda, we will go the Gold Coast Suns, but not for a Charlie Curnow deal. We're going to start with, Bailey Humphrey. First of all, what is your position on what you've seen with the Bailey Humphrey chit-chat?
Look, long ago, Bailey was my boy. I absolutely love Bailey, just as a human being. But honestly, as a dad, I judge every young man below the age of 18 of, would I be proud to call you my son? Bailey gets a tick in all the boxes, incredibly switched on. When I got to interview him at 17, one of the most switched on, self-aware human beings I've ever had the privilege of talking to. And since he's come in the AFL, he's really grown strength to strength, incredible development in that young man. I can't think of many players I've interviewed and come across who have actually done what they've said. He's a fighter. He's a literal fighter, a scrapper. I enjoyed the rumour. I really did enjoy the rumour. Do I think it's likely? I'll say it again. It's the same with Gold Coast when there was the rumours about Jed Walter for Charlie Curnow. It's the same with Bailey Humphrey. If they're willing to get rid of him to bring in Petrarca, see what I said about Jed Walter for Charlie Curnow. Absolutely mental, stupid, A-grade rubbish list management. Because Petrarca and Humphrey, you look at their linear progression, very similar player, doing the same numbers that Petrarca is. You are jumping the gun by 5 years for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. I don't think Petrarca will get any better. Humphrey will do, but you'd take him if he's on an offer to you.
Fair. I'm going to put a link in the chat for those of you to watch this a little later. This is actually a little gem. It's kind of cool that we're now moving more and more into the future, because now we can go back and look at some of the gems online. Now, this video has 744 views, and this is one of the better interviews that you'll see. It's actually, with players, because the player was so vulnerable. It's actually Bailey Humphrey with you. If you watch this first bit here, I mean, watch the whole interview after this video, even if you just want to get to know a little bit more around Bailey. But you did touch on the way that he speaks about life and the struggles that he had and what he had to overcome and what he's experienced. I was really taken aback at the time, and we spoke about this the other day. I highly recommend watching this, even just for a contextual research point of view from a fan. I really like him. I really like the way he speaks. And at this point, how old was he? 17?
Yeah, he's only a bubby.
Yeah.
Look at him. Little bubba. Yeah.
So that's the link in the live chat there. If you're listening to this after on Spotify or wherever, just get in touch and I'll send you the link. So this is the Suns on Bailey Humphrey. Yeah. So is it myth busted? Like Zach Butters myth busted, or not yet? Is it still What's the level of pipe dream?
Oh, mate, I wouldn't like to give this a chance. I mean, obviously, for him to meet quite openly would say to me that that's saying something. Like, genuinely, it's quite easy to meet. And even, believe it or not, in 2025, it's quite easy to meet another opposition coach. It's quite easy without you getting busted. To do it quite easily, the way it was communicated on Reddit as well, people were tracking where he was, says to me a little bit of foolishness on Humphrey's behalf. But it's going to be fascinating. He's definitely a player that you want. And you can see the teams that are named. One of the talks I saw the other day, Melbourne were willing to do the deal with Tracker. And I was like, genuinely, same as I said with Jed Walter, one of the worst bits of list management that I'd ever see if you swapped Petrarca for Bailey, because Bailey has got his whole career ahead. So it's going to be fascinating. I mean, the difference is he's got to hand in a trade request. I think that changes it. Gold Coast have handled it right. This one to work through, you have to hand in the trade request. I think Charlie and Zach Merritt have had the pressure come on them. Zach Merritt today, I thought it was very interesting. Hawthorne said he hasn't handed in his trade request yet, which I thought was quite a fascinating statement, because they know once he does it officially, your position changes a little bit at the contract table. At the minute you can say he wants to play and it's fixable. The minute he does that, that's when the conversation changes. I'll be honest, I like Bailey. I've got a little bit of love for the guy. I hope he doesn't, and I hope he stays a Gold Coast player. I really do. But I can understand him wanting to move to Victoria, but I hope he does it the right way. That's the one thing I'll say. I hope he does it the right way.
What about Ainsworth?
Benjamin Ainsworth. We're looking forward to talking about him. I had to do a bit of research today just to see how he fits. One thing that turns me on is I think Nick Austin over the last 4 or 5 years has had this like kind of almost a fetish, dare I say, a voyeuristic fetish for forwards that defend, right? He's got a fetish for it, and I don't know why, because the last guy who took a guy who was a small forward, the first one was Nick Austin, Cody Waitman, and that guy thought defence was something that you find in Bunnings in aisle 17. So it's fascinating because Ben Ainsworth is a very similar to that. This guy doesn't defend. He's more of a finisher. He's more of a provider. He's one of them ones that, dare I say it, he's in the purview of limited role behind players that are better than him, but keeps doing it. 24 games this year. He's kind of that third most respected forward in that line. My reservation for Carlton is, when was the last time we took someone aside from George Hewitt that was on the outer of the elite panel that we made better? And his numbers track to say, okay, if he was the main man goal a game, that's a good little bog standard, considering that you're the 4th most targeted. You distribute it pretty well as well. My reservation is this has to be cheap. This has to be cheap, and then I'm in it, because we do need someone that's all one way, not defensive. But it doesn't excite me, if you know what I mean. I can understand the appeal. I've seen us linked with worse players. I query, can he get better? And I don't see, when I looked at George Hewitt's numbers, I could see him getting better. Right. This one doesn't scream gets better.
Keeping in mind as well, he is contracted until the end of 2028. Signed a 4-year deal in 2024 in July, 21st of July. 27 years of age right now. He is a 10th of February 1998 baby. So that means start of next year, he's 28.
Mm-hmm. And that's my point. I don't see him getting marvelously better. I think we're going the right way. Look at teams with good small forwards, take the third. Gold Coast probably just wouldn't be the answer, to be honest. But if he comes in and it's cheap, Terry, I'm doing it. My issue is it's a long-term deal, so they're not really cheap. Like, if you said to me, Dan, you can either have Ben Ainsworth for a swap of thirds, and that's what I'd consider really cheap, and they won't do that. But I'm just saying, this is Pom's budget brain. If they said, give us a third, you can have Ben Ainsworth, or 7's gone, you will have 9 in the draft, Lockie Doverston's there. I'm all over Lockie Doverston, a proper footballer, a man's man, a game changer. And I'm willing to let Ben Ainsworth slip. But he's solid enough. He just doesn't get my willy hard, Terry, I'll be honest. I think he'd be solid. No, but we've got a lot of small forwards. I want the wow.
Okay. This is the Gold Coast Suns position on Ainsworth, just to wrap that. Right. They've also...
and I have no idea how true it is, but I have a very good friend who is very ears to the ground at Gold Coast. He's told me that long-term deal, because I messaged him and was like, how the fuck is he got such a big deal? He said it was quite a low value deal as well. It's not, he like signed a long-term deal, bit like Pitternet did.
Pitternet.
Yeah, took a little bit less over a longer term to secure his future. So I'd like to think if we could get it cheap, I don't think we'll get it too cheap, because it's the way he added that we want to be compensated. Don't like it when they say that, Terry, because compensated, they said that with Chera, right? And Chera, we talked about a future first. It turned out to be pick 6, Terry.
Call me silly. Humphrey, Ainsworth for Charlie, and a future second.
Right, Humphrey, Ainsworth, and a second. You see, I think Carlton's need for a future is important.
Okay.
Like, I think you've got to get that deal done now. You've got to get that future first in now, in my opinion. I think you'll still be able to get it in next year, but I think it's going to cost a lot more to you next year when the rules are set in stone. I think your best option, I kind of like the Sydney one, because I think Sydney could go either way. They'll either be a top 4 side or Dean Cox can't coach. And I think it's worth having the risk of maybe Dean Cox can't coach. Maybe they'll be a bottom 8 side. That gives us a good pick. I think it's worth doing that risk. I think Gold Coast, they ain't going to bottom out. They're going to be a top 4 side.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Ainsworth. The final 2 players I want to talk about on this show before we look to wrap up. First one is Elijah Hollands. We saw commentary around him saying, yeah, he's free to explore his options. I did see something recently that so far there hasn't been anything of note for him in terms of an offer. It's still early days in the trade period. Is there a reality where he's playing football at Carlton at all next season?
It's kind of a weird one, this one, because Carlton kind of drew the line under this one. Like, usually when we draw the line, we draw the line with an element that you can come back. I felt like Michael Voss, Graham Wright, they kind of underlined this. We don't want him back. Felt like go and see other people, but we're not getting back together. Felt like they'd gone full Taylor Swift on it, which wouldn't surprise me, because Carlton fans, Carlton as a football club mentioned Taylor Swift quite a bit, probably more than they do winning football. But this will be an interesting one in it, because my element with Elijah is very fascinating. Carlton handled the Elijah Holland situation so badly, right, publicly, so badly that if I was another club, I'd be like, okay, how bad was it? How bad was it? Because you kind of alluded to it was all right, and then suddenly it wasn't. So obviously when you're doing this trade, you'll get that personal intel. We won't. It's a risk, isn't it? I think there's no doubt he's talented. This is one of them ones that maybe with Campbell, Cheshire, with Chess, you maybe say, how about we swap? How about we swap?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like we take the risks with Campbell, because every time Campbell sees grass, he fucking breaks a knee. We'll give you Elijah. And if you can get him right, it works. If Carlton can get it right, it works out for us as well. Be a fascinating one because I think the trade value on this is nothing. It's like a 4th rounder.
Mm-hmm.
But Jad came on here the other day and he talked about like if you're a big club, you make it work. Part of me agrees with him in that as well. Like I don't know what's happened, so I'm talking about this just face value. I wish there would be a world where we can help Elijah fulfill his potential. I love the deal. I'd do the deal all day long. I'd take the risk all day long on Elijah. I think his talent with whatever he's got going on is worth the risk. You do it all the time. I really do hope that he goes somewhere that can give him the love and make him find his passion again. Find his passion and find his purpose because he's a great kid. I can't speak highly enough of the Hollands boys. They're great kids. Their hearts are in the right place. I wish them nothing but brilliance.
Yeah, I'm the same. And I remember, you just sparked my memory. When we recruited him at the end of 2023, I remember doing the welcome video and I remember saying and thinking it's going to be a test of the culture that the Carlton Football Club has built. Now, about 2 years later, the coach is admitting on Best and Fairest night that we culturally defeated ourselves midway through 2025. So in order for the Elijah situation to have worked, I think a lot of us felt, and I think it's fair to say, there needed to be a strong culture. See other clubs that have done it with players who have got their issues. Carlton do not have that culture, clearly.
Oh, but is it too late? Yeah, fucking hell no.
But is it too late? Is it too late to build it, or are we sort of going backwards to reset the culture, and therefore we just have to cut our losses with Elijah and say it didn't work? Our culture's not ready to embrace that type or absorb that sort of situation.
I stand by it. I'll stand by it, and I can reveal to everyone in the audience. I personally fell out with some people at the club around January, around the time. I think the way that we handled the Elijah situation is probably the worst I've ever seen any sporting entity handle something so sensitive. The fact that we allowed the rumours on Reddit to go from drugs to he's sleeping with players' wives to he's sleeping with Ollie's wife and that's why he's moved out. And the club, they monitor everything. We know they do. They would have seen that. The fact that they ghosted it, they went as far as Luke Power releasing a report on everyone who was training and played in the preseason game and went to the lengths of leaving him out even though he played a quarter. Like, and then having him front row with Harry when the rumours were, you know what the rumours were.
Yeah.
And didn't even mention it. And then all of a sudden, the day before round one, the club revealed he was taking a step back, knowing that 24 hours later, the hype will be around the round one team. Says to me the immaturity of Carlton Football Club as a football team, as an entity, protect the brand over the player. So the fact that Michael Voss says that we've culturally broken ourselves, no fucking shit. Because if the outside is all about protecting the monogram and the club branding, what do you fucking think the inside is?
Yeah.
It's not about winning and it's not about bettering yourselves. Even the way Voss said, we've got to celebrate Carlton people, celebrate our journey. No. Life, business, sport, simple. All you've got to do is fucking win. And then you celebrate the journey to winning. You don't celebrate your past. You celebrate what you can do in the future. I feel for Elijah, and genuinely, I hope a club takes the punt on him. I hope they do. And I think if I had to recommend him to go anywhere, McQualter is incredibly known as a people person, incredibly welcoming. He's got them dad vibes, not like Michael Voss. He's more like the stepdad that has to fill in the disciplinary dad role vibes. You know, the one that your mate says he's a fucking idiot. McQualter's got them stepdad vibes of, you know what, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to be your mate through this journey. And I think that's probably what Elijah does. I really hope whatever's going on in Elijah's life, though, I hope it's fixed. And I can only apologize to Elijah on behalf of my representation of Carlton Football Club, the way that we handled that situation, because I think the fact we allowed it to get that bad from the fan base, like some of the posts on Ollie's things, some of the posts on Ollie's girlfriend, at the time as well when they'd broken up were barbaric. So, Elijah, if you ever watch this, I can only apologise for our part as a Carlton community in what you went on. Best of luck in the future, mate. I hope you get it right because you can do it.
And then the final player that we'll talk about tonight is Sam Walsh. So I should have checked this before we started, but correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the sentiment was, let's wait and see what happens with De Koning before we turn our attention to Walsh. We now have we now have clarity around what's happened with De Koning, but then the sentiment now is, we'll wait for Walsh to get back and start preseason before we engage in those discussions. If Butters is the Butters situation, what's the difference between Walsh?
Oh dear! Look, I like to take players on their words.
Yep.
I like to, and Sam was quite open that he's Carlton through and through. So I'll take Sam on his word. I'll take Walsh on his words. I do think it's something that, go back to what I said. What are you selling? What are you selling? This would be a big thing that if I was a player right now, if I was an agent of a player, if it was one of my kids, that would be the first thing I'd be saying to my kids. Get Nick to tell you is Walsh staying before you even entertain going there, because he's going to be a big part of getting you out of this shit.
Yeah.
So that's going to be another grey cloud. I do feel like at the minute, Carlton Football Club, I've heard everything they've said. And I feel like they're answering the questions that, to use Michael Voss's words, I'm not going to say what you want to hear. I'm going to say what you need to hear. I would like Carlton to actually say what we actually fucking need to hear, like live by their mantra. At the minute, there is a lot of grey areas if we're going to buy players.
Just this cloud of unknown, this cloud of uncertainty. And therefore, it's hard to sell the future.
Look, I agree. Look, we've been burnt by players' words. Look, as I said ages ago, I genuinely like to take players at their words. I don't believe a word that comes out of any of their mouths, though, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm at that level of cynical now when a player takes a picture of his mum on Mother's Day. I question, is that really his mum?
Do you really love her? Well, you know what? It reminds me, when I was doing early in the season with Ari, we were doing the Bias Footy Show, and I said, this whole Melbourne Football Club thing, like we love each other, and like going out of their way to just tell the world how much they love each other. I'm like, it's kind of like that Instagram couple that like they post how happy they are, but that's just overcompensating for what they're actually lacking. And then you fast forward into the year and Petrarca wants out. They've told Clary that they no longer want him around. Granted, they've changed the coach and all of that, but I'm hesitant to believe words from players.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I like to take a player at face value. Same with all human beings. If you tell me something, Walsh has never lied to me so far.
True.
So I'll forgive him. Charlie Curnow, he said he was staying, and it's obvious he lied to me. So he's now in the bad books for the rest of his life. He'll never regain the trust and the love that I had for him because he didn't have to say that. Sam Walsh now has said the same thing. I'm not fucking leaving. So I expect him to sign. I mean, it can't be that hard, can it, to be honest? It can't be that hard to... I mean, when people say he's on holiday, how hard is it to answer the fucking phone? Oh, mate.
Yeah. Also, he's back. Like they were all in Europe. We saw the photos. They grew their hair out. It's great, but they're back.
Like, let's be honest. I mean this in the nicest possible way. Sam Walsh couldn't have an easier career because he's Sam Walsh. Carlton fans love him. Sam Walsh is at that situation. Someone on Reddit could find a picture of him taking a cat back to the RSPCA saying, verbatim, can't be fucked with cats, mate. Don't want it. And people would defend him and blame the cat, right? So Sam Walsh's life's easy. Sam Walsh isn't like Jesse Motlop, who is going to constantly be criticised even if he's good. Sam Walsh is now in the Jesus Christ zone, where everything he does touches to gold, no one cares. So it can't be that hard. Like, that would be how I'd sell it to Walsh. You won't get this level of unaccountability at any other football club. You can literally now be bang average for the rest of your career. They'll put your stupid little face on shirts, on bobbleheads, and they'll love you. How hard is it to sign $1 million contract for 7 years? Not that hard.
True, they'll always play the goal against
honestly, for the rest of their life, they will always play fuck yeah. And now the no BS comment. So I don't mean to be cynical, but and that's part of the problem. For me, if Carlton want to be a serious football club, they need to lose that star appeal. They need to lose that you are better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Fact. Because like when you look at Geelong, when people say, why did Geelong sign it? And we can joke and go, they buy farms and stuff. Have you seen how many fucking players request Geelong? Straight away. The minute Geelong are involved, I want Geelong, baby. I want Geelong. And that's a level of respect that they've gained in the AFL industry. They don't have to sell anything. It's Geelong Football Club. The same as Brisbane now. Brisbane don't have to sell anything. Come here, be with Uncle Fagan, be a superstar. And that's because they've built an on and off field brand that is so sustainable and so respectable. The problem is with Carlton, we're looking at stupid, insular things. Charlie Curnow, he's got a kids club. Who the fuck cares? That's what crutches are for. Patrick Cripps, oh, isn't he a darling? Patrick Cripps is merely a football player. These people are merely like waitresses at Sizzler. They are purely there to bring me my fucking food. And that fucking food is a flag. So I don't feel the attachment to these players. They have been given way too much respect and way too much kudos. People at North Melbourne work their hands to the bone and then they're delisted and no one gives a fuck. At Carlton Football Club, Alex Chincotta has been put on a pedestal like he's a big delisting. What about the players that are delisted at other clubs, Brisbane, anywhere else? They don't get that fanfare for being bang average. They do at Carlton, though. So this is what really annoys me about this football club. It's no longer a privilege. It's not seen as a privilege anymore to play at this football club. It's seen as an expectation that you walk through them doors, you put your soppy navy blue Guernsey on, and then everyone will start blowing smoke up your ass. And what really annoys me is it doesn't reflect the pride of the Guernsey. Hear Michael Voss say words again, and everyone going, oh, I want to run through a brick wall. I wouldn't fucking cross the road for that dickhead. He's saying this now in his second failed fucking year. Where was that at the bye? Carlton need to get serious. This club used to be proud, used to be built on substance. It's not anymore. It's built on a myth. And this is the job Carlton have got. I want more Liam Reeders in this fucking football club. Guys who have had to watch Sean Darcy have his job for 5 years. I want to see him come here and take the bull by the horns and go, I don't want your fucking kudos. I want my opportunity. And vicariously, I am going to make this club great again because I get the opportunity I deserve. And that's why what I said about Elijah, I'm not absolving him from his blame. He's responsible for whatever he's done, right? And he's lost his opportunity here. I am sorry the way we treated him because I think that made whatever he was going through hard. But this is a fucking opportunity of a lifetime. Carlton Football Club, man. Like, these guys are made heroes, Terry. Charlie Curnow, look at him. Like, I'll say what I said about Zach Merritt. Who the fuck do you think you are to treat the fan base who stuck by you when you fucked about playing basketball? Who stuck by you when you decided to fuck about drink driving on the biggest week of your career? We did, and we made you a hero. We welcomed you in. And all we asked for in return was you perform week in, week out. We waited 4 years, Terry, for him to perform. And then you treat us like this. And I don't blame him for wanting to leave, Terry. You know what I blame Charlie Curnow for? Using his agent like a coward. Because a real man who's worthy of respect and all the prestige you get at this football club wouldn't interject a great like Matthew Lloyd and cut him off and say, I'm staying. He would say, you know what, Matt Lloyd, what you said about me the other day is true. I am thinking about ending my time here at Carlton Football Club. I love the fans, I love the club, but now is the time for me to grow apart from you guys. And that's how you gain respect, not by being a little coward and fucking hoping someone comes and bails you out. And Michael Voss is right about one thing. We are fucked internally, and it's all of them. It's the media department, Michael Voss, Graham Wright turning up, not even having a fucking shave. This is Carlton Football Club. Have a fucking standard. Be something respectful, because there is nothing to respect about them. They are frauds. They are slovenly, they are lazy, and they are here for the kudos, and they don't work hard enough for it. And Brisbane work fucking hard for it. Geelong work fucking hard for it. And that's what these little fuckers need to do in this off-season. Some of you will be fired. Some of you will be delisted. Some of you are going to somehow get a fucking contract. God knows how. But when you wake up after that moment, you better fucking realise you are very fortunate to be in a big historical club that gives you far too much kudos for the shit you throw out. And that's what annoys me about this football club, Terry. It's shit, and they get away with it because, oh, we won a flag in the 90s. Mate, you could wear denim and denim in the 90s. It's not a time worth remembering. Grow up.
My palms are sweating. I want to run through a fucking brick wall.
That's a proper, like, Michael, oh, I let you down. Oh, please love me. Fuck off. Do your job. It's not that hard. You name 23 fucking names and you go out there and you play football. It ain't that hard, Michael. You either can do it or you can't. It's up to you now if you can do it. I don't care about your sleepless nights you let us down. I had sleepless nights too because you're fucking hopeless, right? You're not fucking giving me any tablets to sleep though, are you dickhead? So, like, go out there. And that's what annoys me. Like, Charlie Curnow, like, honestly, I love that man like my son. But I can never sing his song. I will never smile again when he does it. Because for me, that's a big betrayal, man. We put you up on a poster, man. Fuck you. Fuck you. We deserved you to look me in the eyes and say, love you, but it's not enough. And you use your little soppy little agent to do it. Fuck you. Get out.
Yeah. Well, that is, I think that's...
Can't believe you've done that to me. I was in such a good mood.
I feel like you needed to get it off your chest. We needed to, like, chip away at it.
Yeah, you did that again. I've been eating my feelings on a night time.
Oh, that is therapy right there. No, look, I think that is a great way to start this show for this trade period. I don't think much more needs to be said. I don't think we need to drag out this show. We will continue this tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pommy, that was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I had to get that out. It's your fault when you rang me today and said, this is what we're doing. So I decided to watch all the Carlton PR and just got more and more angry.
Well, last year it was Pound the Rock from San Antonio Spurs. This year it was Joe Mazzulla after the Boston Celtics won the championship. So anyway, it was good. Those of you watching, please, if you've got nothing else to do at 8 p.m., Pommy, you're going to do your trade recap, but it's for the league. So what can people
we've
expect?
got so much fucking to cover as well, because evidently Cal Toomey has decided to put me to work today. So yeah, loads to cover. Daily recap show. We cover everything that's broken. We cover, and there's quite a lot of Carlton tonight as well, thanks to Terry. So I can't wait to talk about them dickheads again.
Amazing. Well, we'll be tuning in 8 p.m. Ladies and gents, that is episode 1 of Trade TV here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. Much love. See you tomorrow. Go Blues.